Greetings, friendos, and welcome back to the Oxlayer for yet another video. For today's topic, I got a little something in the mail. A not so little package that arrived. So, without further delay, I will get into the box. Now, as you will probably know from the title right down over here, this is another piece for a certain collection of mine you may see behind me here. And this particular box, right here on my lap, contains a duplicate of a puppet that I already have. So, more than likely, well, I don't know if I'll actually put in the title who this puppet is. You'll have to watch and see who is in this box. So to go ahead and kick things off, I'm just going to go ahead and stab right down into the top. Come on now. That's what I get for using a blunt letter opener. Now, it seems like whomever packaged this, but they seem to have packaged it very well, because the item inside, that thing is not going anywhere. It's barely shifting when I move it up and down like this. Now, should I have bought this thing presently? No. But did I buy it anyway? Well, you see that I have a box on my knee right here, so the answer is more than likely a yes. Aha! The package is now open on one end. Somehow, during shipping, this side of the box got kind of crushed in on itself. Or so it would seem. It also seems that the individual that sold this to me went on ahead and kind of Frankensteined together the box containing this particular little figure. Just removed another label from the box, which I should have done earlier, but I was so excited to get this thing and to get the package open that, well, I just wasn't really thinking. I'm hyperfixating on removing the labels. So I'm going to stop myself right there and just keep the box out of frame as much as possible, at least the sides that you all don't need to see. Now, I usually have a good track record with opening packages in a way where the item within is like right side up. You know, if it's a doll or a ventriloquist figure, it's head side up. But I think this one I have opened up the wrong way. Yes, I am looking at the bottom of the puppet. You see the blue? That is the color of his pants. That's the only clue you're getting so far as to what figure it is that this one is a male. So, I'm going to do my best to give you all the first look at this goofy little guy as I pull him out of the box. Wow, the seller did a fantastic job. Look at all that bubble wrap right there. And they even made sure to put like internal packing to make sure the guy, our little friend here, wasn't going to get all jostled around in the mail. Well, to be fair, it could have been them. It could have been the people at the post office they took him to. Now let's see if I can do this thing. Hi. Got it. So like I said, I'm going to do my best to give you all the first look at this new little acquaintance of the channel as I unravel it from its bubble wrap cocoon. Just caught sight of the face in the video from the computer, and I can guarantee there are some of you who already know who this is immediately from that little glimpse right there. But if you don't know who it is, I will be telling you momentarily. He just shifted a little bit. Alright. There we have. All the bubble wrap has been removed. kind of toss that over there. But here on my hand, you now see my new little ventriloquial pal. Why don't you introduce yourself, little buddy? Sure thing. My name is Simon Says. And for those who couldn't understand, he said his name was Simon Says. And it should, yep, it's right there written on his shirt. Now, for those of you wondering why in the world that I got a second one, considering I've got one, let me see if I can point at him in the camera, right there next to the little jack-o'-lantern, already in the collection. That's because this one is wearing the exact same outfit, or at least the exact same type of outfit, that one I had when I was younger. I'm stumbling all over myself all of a sudden. When I was younger, back in my high school days, my grandfather, who was a junkman, I think I've mentioned him before, he actually found me one of these puppets wearing this exact outfit that you see right here. It was my very first headstick professional style ventriloquial figure that I ever owned in my collection. This was way back before I got any of my Simon Sazes or my Slappy who's off screen over here, or any of these guys. So I've been trying to track down another one with this particular outfit, but usually, for whatever reason, this particular outfit, or these puppets wearing this outfit, go for an exorbitant amount of money. So I got real lucky, and initially I was just going to settle with getting that fellow over there, the one in the purple and pink shirt, because I was just wanted to have another Simon Says in my collection, and he fit the bill, and he was extremely cheap. I believe I only paid $35 for him before shipping, or with shipping, I forget. Excusez-moi. And this little fella, unfortunately I had to pay up a little bit, and this is where the I shouldn't have spent the money comes in, but he didn't cost me $60, but he cost me over $50 with the shipping. So, yeah. But I wanted to get one of these puppets in my collection. The person wanted $45 for him, which is the initial reason why I asked if they would be willing to sell this little fella to me. And then they were like, yes, I'd be willing to do that, but I have to figure out how much the shipping is going to be. And I said, okay. And they found the shipping was $11 and change. I thought that was extremely reasonable, and so here he is. So now that I've talked your ears off about our new little pal here, I'm going to turn him so that I can get my own first look at him. And by God, he looks exactly like the one that I had all those years ago. Because yours Ghoulie is getting on in years. You don't say. You don't look a day over 30. Really? Well, thank you very much. Then again, you are wearing a hat. So, for all I know, you could be bald under that. That is fair. That is fair. And we only just met. Yeah, that's true. But anyway, released in 1973 by the Horseman Doll Company, was this little fella right here. Now, I don't know if this one was actually made in 1973, because I'm not sure how long these figures were on shelves. I know that the Willie Talks over there lasted until at least the early 1980s, because there's at least one that I'm aware of that I've seen online that's dressed up in an exercise outfit, sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and it's got kind of the 80s vibe to him. But the Simon Says, I don't think these guys made it out of the 80s, on store shelves, unless there were a couple of y'all that were on, clearance, who just didn't get sold. It could happen. That's true. That's true. Because you know what they say, folks. Stranger things have happened. That's correct, Simon. Stranger things have happened. Now I'm just thrilled to have another Simon with this outfit in my collection. Is it perfect? No. But does it need to be? You can answer that question. Precisely. He does not need to be perfect to be in my collection. I mean, y'all have seen some of the other puppets in this collection. None of them are perfect. No offense, all of you. But I'm just so glad to finally have another one like this, because he reminds me of the one I had at that point in time. He's going to need a bit of cleaning. Case in point, I just pulled an animal hair. Looks like dog hair out of his shirt right there. And he does appear to have what looks like moth holes at several places on his shirt. But I'm fine with it. As well you should be, bucko. Now just hopefully you'll get along with your twin over there on the shelf. Even if I don't, I think I could take him. You think you could take him? Yeah. In a fight, right? In a fight, right? Oh, I don't mean on a picnic. Alright. So, real quick, I'm going to undo his shirt and I'm going to take a look at the shoulders, because one odd thing that a lot of people would do with these puppets is they would kind of follow the the Paul Winchell, Jerry Mahoney kind of style of comedy with these figures. Like, this guy would be we'll say, what's the word? A cocky kind of smart mouth. There we go. A smart mouth kind of individual. And they would say something, and then the person being the ventriloquist would like grab him by the arm and go, "Come here," do stuff like that. So on a lot of these figures, including the one that I had all those years ago, the stitching that you can see right here on the arm would be all undone because it had been yanked on so many times, just pulled the stitching loose. But this guy, the stitching seems to be in spectacular condition. And just to show off the other arm, not to mention the fact that it does not appear that his head, well, hold on. Okay, it doesn't appear that anyone has ever actually gone in and replaced the old rubber band that's in there. So it seems he has his original rubber band all the way from back in 1973. And looking at it through his mouth, it definitely looks like it, because that's it's a bit dry rotted. I'm surprised it's still working. So that's going to be a project I'm going to have to address at some point soon. Oh, and I just realized he's got the original rubber band holding his head on. And that thing is twisted. Don't know if it'll show up on camera very well, but let's see here. Yeah, see how twisted around that is? Let's go ahead and fix that real quick. One rotation. Yep, I'm twisting it in the right direction. Two rotations. See, is that it? About 2.5 rotations is how far off it was. Oh, you're making me dizzy over here. Well, hold on. I'm going to check one more thing condition-wise. Because even if the upper arm might be in good shape, there's no telling that whether or not the hands might be getting ready to fall off. So let's go ahead and roll up your sleeve a little bit there, Simon. And we get a look. stitching is still good. The hand is nice and firmly attached. Roll down that sleeve, flip you the other way, and check the other one. Yeah, he's looking good. Aside from the the insect damage to his clothing, this guy, honestly, is in a fantastic condition. It also appears that the elastic for the waistband has perished, as evidenced by the fact that someone had to take a safety pin and tighten up his pants. But I am superbly happy to own this character again. Well, it's good to be out of that attic again. You were in someone's attic? I think. Or it was someone's garage. Either way, I was stuck in the docks for a long, long time. And it is so nice not to be stuck in there no more. Well, all I can really say, Simon, is welcome to the family. Here are all your brothers, sisters, cousins, and uncles and aunts. Did you say aunts? No, not that kind of aunt. Okay, good. Because the last place I was at, they had a bit of an ant problem, and it was kind of incredible. Well, we don't have any ant problems like that going on here. Although we do have a bit of a spider problem at present. You do? As a matter of fact, we do. As a matter of fact, off camera, at this very moment in time, there is a spider in a little container right over there. Really? Yeah, right over there. I would take the camera off the from its perch and show everyone, but the cord is not long enough. You know, you could just take a picture with your phone. Fair enough. Alright, with that, folks, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up here by saying a hearty thank you to each and every single one of you out there watching. Pardon me, Simon, I need my other hand for this next bit. I do truly and greatly appreciate it from the depths of my cold little black heart. If you like what you've seen here today, you all know the drill. Simon, feel free to let them know. Yeah, if you like what you've seen here today, you all know the drill. Feel free to like, comment, and share this content with your friends if you think they'd like them. And then my jaw clacks, doesn't it? It really does. And above all else, I think this is where you come back into the picture there, Oxleymations. You're correct, Simon. As my little friend was alluding to, and with all of that out of the way, and above all else, let's do this together. Viewers beware, and subscribe if you dare. Later.